two things that I have that come from that is like, one, you have to have grit. Like you have to be willing to beat your head against the wall enough to fail and learn, and you're figured out. Like, but you have to put yourself in enough activities, enough situations to give yourself a chance, give yourself a shot. Yep. You're not letting the numbers work in your favor. Like you're trying this 2-3 times and going, oh, it didn't work. Like, no, you need to try it 100 times to really see if something works or not.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Weekly Chime. Hey, we got Ben Meyer here today out in Wichita, Kansas. He's going to talk to us about a whole bunch of different things and give us a different spin on technology and really where we're at with technology. So, Ben, welcome to the show. As always, we have Trenton and we've got Tristan. Ben, take it away, bud. Let's hear what you have to say.
Sure. So kind of like I was telling you in the briefing, like it's going to be on 3 things of content, convos, and contracts. And, I like to follow structures and outlines like all of us do so we can get an actual result out of this. And the first thing I was wanting to talk about is just content and like what that means specifically, because you have a lot of content creators and people telling you to do video, make content, all this thing. But at the end of the day, the thing that your people want the most is houses. Zillow and Realtor are one of the top 5 visited most websites in the world, to give you an idea like how much people just want to look at houses. They don't really want to hear from you. They don't want to see from you. They don't want to read from you. They want to look at pretty houses. And like Google's like at the top, but in the top 5 of like websites that people go visit and search and browse regularly, it's Zillow and Realtor. And that shows you like how much people like looking at houses. And so if you just keep the main thing, which is houses, and start with houses first, then get into all the other stuff, that's the content people want more than anything. And then when they start to want the knowledge, like that's where you can get yourself intertwined in there. AI can play a part in that, but I know everybody's freaking out over AI, thinking it's going to be the new silver bullet. At the end of the day, like it's just the next shiny object that you're getting yourself distracted from. And what has kept like my email open rates and my people with me for so long so high, because I think we're at like 50% right now, email open rates, and we've got it up to like 65, 70% before. And like I'm constantly monitoring that, because the main thing I send people is houses with my face, with my name on them, but I give them what they want. They want houses. So at the end of the day, the content that they're wanting more than anything is houses. And then from there, which is awesome about Chime, like you can monitor how much they're looking at houses, how much they're favoriting houses, how much they're interacting with the houses. And obviously those are the people you want to apply more of your resources, time, and attention and energy to, because they're just more likely to buy, or they're more likely to do something. So putting out content on a regular basis, and when I say that, I don't mean content about you. You do need to put that out there, but content like houses. That's why Chime works so well, because you run ads to houses, you have organic content of houses, you have so many pages of houses out there, the thing that people actually want, that they're coming to you for, and then eventually they're going to want an agent. They don't want an agent first and then houses. Like that's fundamentally been flipped. And the thing is, this strategy, I've been running for 5 years, and I won't be changing it, because previously I was a different CRM provider. I've used a lot of different CRMs, a lot of different services. At the end of the day, like people want houses. It's the main bread and butter thing. It's just a matter of where they're at in the buying cycle, or, the actually taking an action cycle. And even if they want to just browse at houses for fun, that's fine. Like, but as long as they're looking at houses with you, with your name, your face, like you're the one they're thinking of with everything.
Aren't I supposed to be the really blunt one? What are you doing? You're going to get hate mail like I do. Be careful, man.
And this is something I learned about marketing, sales, and leadership, is you can't be everything to everyone. And if you're going to stand for something, you're going to piss off a lot of the wrong people, but there's going to be a lot of people who love you for what you stand for and that you actually say when they're thinking and feeling and get there. So you can't be everything to everyone. And it's the same thing with marketing and sales. Jared James, one of my early coaches, was like, a good marketing sales process not only identifies the right people and gets them attracted to, it also pushes away the wrong people. So you want to write some people off. I know that sounds counterintuitive to our nice guy, people-pleasing attitude, but you want to alienate and push some people away, because not every client is good, and not every offer in person is good, because these 2 jerks you might be trying to win over that don't love you, appreciate you, like you, are keeping you from the 5 to 10 other people that do love you and appreciate you. Exactly. And honestly, like there's some questions I was going to get into with this book, exactly what to say for real estate agents. I think it was written in, when was it? Curator wrote it, but it was written like within the last 2 to 3 years. And that's the important part, is that this is a very timely phrases, questions, things you can say to people to see how much they value and appreciate your service, and if they even want your service or not. Because if you ask somebody like, hey, would it be helpful if I sent you a list of homes? And like, no, I don't need that. I was like, that already you're selling right there. Like they don't value and appreciate real estate agents and what we do for them.
Right.
All these things we do for free to them aren't free, but they're just have an entitled attitude of like, don't contact me, I'll contact you when I need to be contacted. You're probably not an ideal client fit for me, and that's okay. Like, because there's plenty of people who do want and need and value my service and help, and I'd rather go chase and build services around them than like converting assholes. Like sometimes we're like, how do I deal with objections, and how do I get this person to do this and do that? And I was like, it shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that difficult. Like you're chasing like a person that doesn't want you. And so it's more about finding people that do want you, and like your filtering process, your content, your houses, your educational stuff, like filters the right people to you and kicks the wrong ones out on everything. So it starts.
You can extrapolate that.
Go ahead.
You can extrapolate that in any business too, right?
Yeah.
So you
like
can take
a marketing and sales thing. This isn't just a real estate thing. It's just that finally realtors are starting to catch up to this. What'll be really interesting, interesting to see, it hasn't really happened yet in the lending space, is starting to go on the lender side of loan options, lending, financing. They're realizing like, hey, we need a better marketing and sales machine. And if we do, we will freaking crush it, kill it. Cause it's like when CRMs and all this stuff came to real estate, we're acting like it's some big, brand new, awesome thing. I was like, this has been going on in other industries for forever. It's like, we're just bringing it over to here. The trouble is like our sales cycle is longer. So you haven't had as many people like adapted or adopted into it. So it didn't come as fast. You know, that and our sales cycle, transaction cycle is so much longer. It takes longer for the change of effect to go on like it did. Happened really fast in Uber, Amazon, Netflix, those things, because the transaction cycle is faster. Real estate, it takes longer, so it takes longer. But that's kind of a sidebar. We could rant forever on things. But it start like 60 to 70% of your content you should be sending people is around houses. And then the remaining like 20 to 30% should be around knowledge about houses. Like, how are you getting offers accepted? What's the secrets? What's the insider track? You know, and by you giving them the information, seeing behind the curtain, you're the expert. You don't have to tell people you're the expert. You don't have to tell them, here's how many houses I'm sold and how many years I've been doing it and how many awards I got. Nobody gives a shit about that. The only reason they want to see that is what can you do for them? And you can do those things without having all those rewards, the sales, everything. The only people care about is like, what is the offer of service that you can do for me to get me what I want, the result that I want? And then 10%, they do want to know about you. They want to know about you to the extent of like, do I like this person? Am I relatable? Do they understand me? Can they get me what they want? Because the biggest thing that you have to overcome with them is trust. And it's not a trust of like, do I think you're a good person? I don't think you're going to, trick me or manipulate me. Can you do this? Do you know what the hell you're doing? Can you get me the house that I want? Because I might be the most nice, likable guy. I go to church with you or gal with you, whatever. But if I can't get you a house, you're not going to like me very much. You're not going to trust me.
Exactly.
Because really they're trusting in your competence to get the deal done. Not, I like the guy. And that's why they'll go with the 600 review dickhead realtor over you because you're a friend, because they feel that person can get them what they want more than you can. So
exactly.
There's some of that. So that's content on everything. On condos, this is something I've been seeing, is that it used to be speed to lead and how fast can I get to my Zillow lead, my realtor lead, whoever. I would say it's speed to response now. Whenever you see an automation and you see an email or a call or a reply or a view or a favorite, like, hawk that. How fast can you get to them doing something? Because if they're on the website or they're taking a real estate activity, they're in a real estate mindset, they're willing and able to talk about real estate at that point. If they're on the website an hour ago, 2 hours ago, they've already gone and doing something else. So really what you got to do is like, in your prospecting time, sit here and watch for people doing things on the website and like be on it right away. And if you know they're looking at a house, you can just call them right up, be like, hey, what'd you think of XYZ 123 Street? Oh, the actually funny is I was just looking at that and like, yeah, what'd you think of it? And just keep the house the main focus. Like, it's not awkward if you're not awkward. Usually we create these awkward, weird, hesitant situations on these. But so you got to look at like convos, and to get those convos, what I found is like speed response is the best way. As soon as they're doing something, get on there, with it. Also, you want to look at like having at least 10 a day minimum. Usually I shoot for more like 15 to 20 a day. And then a lot of it is you got to practice with people, role play, but then also just you got to get the reps in. You just got to have enough reps, having enough combos, doing enough actions to actually get good at playing this game in the field, not just in theory with your friend role playing. You don't have and the other thing,
I hear that a lot.
Yeah,
I hear that part a lot. And you hear a lot of people that go, well, you just have to make so many calls a day. And it's like, what you do. And they go, well, what scripts do you use? And it's like, dude, do it enough and screw up enough, and we'll find out what works for you. What works for Ben isn't going to work for me, and what works for me is going to work for Trenton. So
there's two things that I have that come from that is like, one, you have to have grit. Like, you have to be willing to beat your head against the wall enough to fail and learn, and you're figured out. Like, most people are smart people to learn. I'm not going to do that again. That didn't work. Or that worked. I'm going to keep doing that. But you have to put yourself in enough activities, enough situations to give yourself a chance, give yourself a shot. Yep. You're not letting the numbers work in your favor. Like, you're trying this 2-3 times and going, oh, it didn't work. Like, no, you need to try it 100 times to really see if something works or not. And then the other side of it too is like, I get it why people don't call it, they don't follow up, or they don't do something because they don't know what to say. They don't know how to bring something of value to that person. So like, there's 10 different like follow-ups that I do of what a message that I'm trying to send to somebody. And when I send this to them, I'm calling them to send it to them, I'm texting it to them, I'm video texting it to them, I'm emailing it to them. Whichever way they respond is however I got to get the message out. Well, whenever I go to reach out to someone, I have a strategy already in mind of something I'm bringing to them to say, to do, to check in on. Not just like, hey, you ready to buy a home yet? You ready to buy a home yet? Ready to buy a home yet? Like, because that's how most people follow up is. It's usually the first one right from the start is like, I want to make sure, are you getting your emails okay? Are they hitting your spam folder? You know, are they matching what you're wanting? Can I narrow it down for you at all? But usually it's like, are you getting the emails okay? And I've been doing that for 5 years. And that's why I have such a high email open rate, because I taught my leads how to be good leads. And it starts from a customer service approach, because most people are just going to be like, oh, I'm just looking, or I'm 6 months out, or I'm 5 years out, or whatever. It's like, that's fine. I just want to make sure you're getting the homes okay. And so that you're seeing those, and that way you can get what you want. I'm like, okay. So then they actually open my emails, they look at it. And then my number one pickup line, call line when I call.
I like that. That's good.
Like, it's like, hey, is Brett there? And they'd be like, yeah, this is Brett. Hey, Brett, this is Ben, the guy that's been emailing you homes to check out. So I'm building the familiarity and like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I know you are. Because usually when people answer the phone, like, who is this? What do you want? Like, and then they decide to talk to you or not. So I'm like, hey, it's Ben, the guy that's been emailing you homes to check out. Because I already got, social equity with them and brand equity with how much houses I've been sending. It's like, well, I just want to check, like, are those matching what you want? Or can I update that for you at all? Like, well, actually, yeah, I don't want to buy a $600,000 house. I was more looking at, like a $200,000 or $300,000 house. Can you update that? It's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Like, why is it that you want to stay at that price range? And then remind me, what is it that has you looking into getting a house anyway? And I try to get to that question as fast as possible. What has you looking into getting a house anyway? What is the real thing you're trying to solve with all this? So that's probably enough on Convos. But like, if you want the list of the 10 things that I follow up on, like just from a real estate perspective, there's just certain things you can just ask about. Like, you get in the home emails, okay, location or price. This is a big one too. Is like, hey, you can favorite homes on there, and you can request showings. That way it gives you an idea of what you like, and me too. So when you're ready, like, we kind of already have a feel for what you like or not. So I'm teaching them how to use the website. I'm teaching them how to be a good lead. Like, they don't just come in as a good lead. Hey, do you need help with financing? Would it be helpful if I sent you market data for your home? Can I update your emails, locations, etc.? Would it be helpful to do a game plan in person? You ever thought about building instead of buying if you can't get what you want? Then like number 9 and 10, if you haven't heard shit from them at all, like, hey, have you given up on your home search? Did you quit? Are you like out of this? What's got to do? Yeah. And number 10 is like this one, Brett, I think I got from your smart plans, where it's like, continue sending listings, and you hear people say like, no, shut them off, or like, no, let's keep sending those, and I haven't heard shit from them. Like,
exactly.
But the takeaway is what it is. Like, when you threaten to take away or offer to take away, and this is why my email open rates are so high too, is because I do shut people out. I don't have this attitude like, oh, well, you never know when they're going to open it up again, or this is going to happen. It's like, no, it's not. You need to just turn it off. Like, if you turn off more people, you'll have a higher email open rate, because it's not about how many emails do I send out. It's how many people are opening. And that's how you get around the spam filter. Spam is not how many emails you send out. It's how many people open it or not. Because if they want what you have, they'll keep opening it. And you can send it to them multiple times a day, every day, like all the time. And like, they love it.
You said something there that I think a lot of people think that I'm kidding when I say I shut people off all the time. I shut them off all the time. In fact, in the last 2 weeks, I think we've shut off, 600,000 smart plan or smart property alerts for people.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens when we do that? Hey, what happened? Like, people out of the blue, like, hey, we used to have like property alerts from you guys. You guys still send those out? It's like, oh yeah, you hadn't responded to us. We actually turned them off. We just don't want to send you stuff if you're not interested. That doesn't help us and it doesn't help you.
We don't want to
like,
bother you any more than you don't want to be bothered.
Again.
Like,
exactly. It's like, remember we sent you a cancellation email? They're like, oh my God, we thought you were kidding. Like, we didn't even pay attention to that. Like, yeah, if you don't do that, we stop sending stuff to you. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Now they're apologizing to us.
Right. So, yeah, none of this stuff's free. Like, if you don't explain that to these people, they don't get like, we pay for all this stuff. Like, it's not free.
I'm really glad you got that and you used it, because people will reach out to me, but like, you don't shut people off. I'm like, I absolutely shut people off.
Absolutely. Like, in a lot of ways, I'm looking at where, out of 100 leads, where's all the 50 to 60 I can turn off and leave alone so I can go focus on the 30 to 40 that really do want it.
Right.
Like, do you really want to chase 50 to 60 dead end things? Like, no, you don't. Like, you want to chase stuff that's actually going to go somewhere. So, like, the more you identify no, like, you got to find the yeses and go deep with the yeses.
Yeah.
Everything.
I like that. I think a lot of people are going to be confused by this. Just so we're recapping here. Ben is selective over his client. He's selective over people, which I hear every real estate agent under the sun. Like, when you say, hey, who's your target audience? They're like, everybody that wants to buy or sell a home. And what Ben, I thank you for finally reinforcing, like, someone's out there reinforcing what I've been preaching for years, which is be selective. You can be selective, and people want what they can't have. And when you're all of a sudden out there saying, like, like, I don't really want to work with this person. Now they want what they can't have, and they want to work with you, and they become better clients, and maybe they don't. And if they don't become better clients, guess what? It's probably better for you.
Right. So when I've identified, like, my ideal client is a reload buyer that's looking to buy a single family home, like in a $300,000 price point. It's that, like, specific that I know that person. And I studied this from you, where it's like, what is the YouTube topic I can put in there? What is the content they want to hear that's very specific to them, so that they're already bought into me? And when they sign up on my website, they think it's freaking cool that I call them and they're working with, like, I have the leverage in the situation I want there, like, on it.
And now that you know your target, you know your avatar, right? How much easier is that to get in front of that person? And now that you know who you're targeting every single time.
Yeah, way easier. And it's the message is landing and it's sticking.
Yes.
And I don't need 200-300 people listening to it. I only need like 20. Because sometimes I'm fooled by these metrics. They're like, well, I don't have 200-300 views on my YouTube channel. Like, who cares? If you're talking to 20 of the right people, that's all you need to talk to. Like, it's not about the metrics and ego. It's about actually making a sale transaction happen.
Exactly. So, you may have a smaller audience, but it's a more refined audience.
Yeah, well, and that's how you get more efficient. That's how you get more deals done. And that's how you get, a 70 to 80% set to met rate and a 65% close rate. Because you want to be the most efficient with your time. And that's how you get your dollar per hour the highest. And you get what you are actually got into real estate for, which is to make more money, spend less time. But it's because you're trying to be everything to everyone, doing all this stuff that doesn't matter, that you're screwing yourself over. Like, you can still have that in real estate in today's day and age. It's just that you're not setting yourself up to be that way. It's like you're a doctor. You don't go to an ear, nose, and throat doctor to get your heart surgery done. But they're all doctors. Like, you need to specialize in what you're doing. And if you want to be paid and treated like a doctor, you need to act like a doctor. But you're not acting like a doctor. So it's still there. It's still alive and well. But it comes down to content. Like, and the way I look at content too is, like, prospecting is important, but content prospects for you 24/7, way harder, faster, better than you ever could. And it needs to be you, not AI, not automation, all this stuff. You find your unique voice, your unique services, everything you're doing, so that people buy into you, so that they come to you basically already pre-sold. And you're not having to do a bunch of selling. You're just doing a bunch of servicing. And then a lot of ways you can, like you said, be selective who you work with and who you don't. And, like, you just kind of have to have an attitude of, like, well, I don't even know if I can help you or not, because I don't know if you're the right person. So, so that, obviously the content and the combos leads to the contracts, and the contracts, like, in today's day and age, like how do you generate a good buyer? Like, there was one we just, one that was 14 offers, and we had 2 of the cash offers. They went 22,000 over, and we did it as is. And that's why we won. Like, we beat the 14 offers. And they were moved from Florida to Wichita. And that's how you got to just generate better buyers. Because people are like, how do I generate better offers? Like, well, honestly, but you need to just generate better buyers. Like, you can't turn someone into something they can't do financially. And what I've noticed as the trend is, like, there's a lot of people moving to smaller markets like Wichita, not just Wichita, and selling in the bigger city markets like Denver, Seattle, California, moving to places like us and buying cash here. And so then I'll generate a listing referral from someone out there, get paid on the listing referral, and then they get buy here. and everything. And it's just a much better situation of like ideal type of client to work with. And they're not your friends and family, ask for a discount, and they're not beating you up on commission, and they value and need you, and like they're counting on you. They're moving to town from you, on that. So that's at least what I've identified as my niche. Everybody can identify their niche of the content and combos they want to create, but it's kind of like that's where I've identified who I target and who I work with. And it's just
the issue
as efficient as possible.
The issue that I see in real estate agents that I coach or anybody along the way is that you see people that I think they know that they need to do this, but no one wants. They're like, well, I'm too busy to do this. Like, are you too busy? I think it's really, if you sat down and even if you dedicate an hour of your day to starting to identify who your target audience, 1 hour, instead of going to the broker's open, instead of going out to lunch with your lender, instead of, there is an hour in a day that I could probably go into everybody's business and go, here's your 1 hour a day. Right. If you sat down for 1 hour a day and actually identified who your target audience is, you will continue to be busy. Right. You're going to start noticing that your transactions flow a little better because the messaging is, like you're saying, the messaging is sticking. Right. And that's the biggest issue.
And I think people are romantic about it too. And it's like, you just have to identify where the opportunity is at. Where's the trend at? And that's where you need to position yourself to be that person that takes advantage of that trend and opportunity. You can't be like, well, I want to do, luxury. It's like, but I'm not going to fool myself and think I'm going to do luxury. Like, I'm not going to do luxury because I'm not a luxury person. And that's fine by me. And I'm okay with that. But I'm not going to fool myself. I started with investors, but I don't do investors anymore because honestly, they have too low a price point and they don't appreciate you. Like, that's just not my ideal client. Someone could go kill it with investors though. I'm not saying that's not a strategy that you could do. You could be the investor agent if you wanted to, but that's just not my person. Like, same thing, I don't do multifamily, I don't do land. Like, I don't do all these things that you can do in real estate. Try to be everything to everyone. I'm a single family home expert, and that's what happens in Wichita. And this is part of, like you said, like, look at your niche. I would say study your market. Where are the transactions happening, and how can you go provide a service to those transactions, regardless of the market, if those transactions are happening, whether you like them or not. I've just seen there's a lot of reloads coming to here, and that's what I like to do. It's what I'm good at. Yep. And honestly, like, I prospect hour and a half a day, maybe. And then I've been adding in another one if I'm not on showings and on appointments. And then I batch all my videos that you see and I do them at one setting. And then I have my BA distribute them for the whole week. And then I'm done living my life. Like, I've had a weird new problem of having time on my hands that I was
going to say, so two questions real quick for you. So one, do you spend more time prospecting or working out?
Work it out for sure.
I've seen it's like, damn man, you're motivating me to go to the gym. So that's number one.
Yeah. I work out 3 or 4 times a week, and I play pickleball 3 or 4 times a week. Like, I'm also single, but it's also like I'm not sitting around at home, so you can use that excuse. Yeah, well, you don't have kids, and then I was like, well, I'm definitely not.
Wait, pickleball?
Tristan wants to chime in. Right. Dude, should we get a pickleball league going here? We could like travel out to 3 states.
Yeah.
I like this. We should start a real estate pickleball league.
I've made about 45 grand commissions from pickleball from people I didn't know before.
Exactly. This is nuts.
Like, pickleball is your ideal client. They're usually they got time. They're usually retired. They got money, and they're cool. You meet them on the pickleball court. You got something in common.
You want to level that one up? You sign up for, this is not for everybody, but local country club, you play pickleball, you close.
Yeah.
That's what.
So one of my advertisements is on our Playtime scheduler here, where I just have a banner ad, and where everybody goes to schedule, playing pickleball, and they all know me from that.
Yep. Awesome. It's funny because I see a lot of people that always, the one demographic that I see so many agents that are like, I never want to work these. It's first-time homebuyers. You see people are like, I never want to work a first-time homebuyer. Now, it's funny because Aurora made her entire business based off of first-time homebuyers. And she looked at it, she goes, so they buy the house, they hold it for 5 years, and then they sell it. All I have to do is stay in front of them. I'm like, yeah. I mean, if that works for you. And she's like, oh, yeah. So she made that first connection, educated, stayed in front of them. And now all of those people that she started 5 years ago, they're all calling her to move up. And now she's selling.
That's a really good point. Because most people ask, like, where do I find listings? Where do I get sellers? It's through buyers. Like, how do I get seller leads? Like, I have 25 buyers right now, and 16 of those I have houses to sell. So the way you find sellers is through your buyers. Like, and really like calling them buyer seller leads. It's just that they're homeowner leads, and it's who you need to like just work through. And if you can help them with that, the problem they have is where am I going to go next? If you get that side out and solve that problem, you're going to get the sell side, the listing side too. They're not going to beat you on commission. They're not going to fight you on rates and fees and service and whoever else. Like solve the buyer agent side. I think that's what's fundamentally changed about real estate is that like the buyer side in a lot of ways is way more valuable and important than the listing side is. Agents haven't adapted that yet. Lifetime value of a client is 30 grand. One listing is like 3 grand, and usually it's a dead end deal, and they're gone, they're moving, they're renting, whatever.
Yes,
nothing else.
It's like where are they going to go? If they're not staying in town, they're moving out.
Right.
And if you know your market, if you're in a Wichita, if you're in an Oklahoma City, if you're in an Anchorage, if you're in a freaking Southern California is a whole different ball of wax. But most people, if they're selling, they're going somewhere else. And so if they're going somewhere else, they're gone. You get a one deal out of them. If you're working a buy side, you're going to get buy side. Stay in front of them. Do a really great job. They're going to now meet other people in the area. They're going to talk about you. And when they go to sell, they're now going to use you again. So now you can have the possibility of getting multiple transactions. I see so many advanced or quote advanced agents that are like, I never want to work a buyer again. I'm going to send that off to my buyer's agent. And it's like, why do
the showing
are you
point
too good?
Like that's the other side of it too. Is like I have a showing partner, and it's like you still today in the middle of the transaction, even though they're out showing houses. So you're leveraging it. Like the time for buyer and seller is about the same now when you leverage that model. It's just you got to be like you got to know how to work that model. Like of everything, it's really no different. A deal's a deal.
Funny that you say that. And that is my next call. After this is my final call in our showing agent series because so few people capitalize on that. And instead of giving away 50% of your commission to a buyer's agent, you're giving away a couple $1,000s if you're in a hot market, or in some other areas, you're giving away $100. Like way easier to work with. But my point is, I think a lot of people just need, I hope people watch this call several times. And Ben, we're running out of time. How do people get in touch with you?
Facebook, Instagram is probably the best way. Go follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. I put out a lot of content. You can see all the stuff in action, not just me talking about it. You can always shoot me messages on there, but a lot of it's just like watch me work. Like you can see almost everything I do. You don't see my Chime stuff, so I can't do that publicly. YouTube took down a few things.
Me too. Here's what you do know. If you do follow Ben on Facebook or Instagram, I'm going to warn you, you are going to be going to the gym. So if you don't have a you're going to get one. I just want to warn you all in advance. I know this.
Or playing pickleball. One of the two.
Or playing pickleball. You might actually get me into pickleball. But
it has to do with the contracts. Like how much capacity, how much problems can you solve? You want to make more money, you need to solve more problems. Part of that is by pushing yourself outside your comfort zone on a personal level before you ever go do it on a professional level.
Yeah, exactly. Ben, thank you for your time. If you could drop in the chat, if you could drop your your handle for Instagram. If you guys are looking to follow me on Instagram, you can find me at The Real Brett Baker. I'm on Instagram all the time. You can catch up on where I am at the current moment. Trenton, how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. Trying to bump up. Yeah.
You're trying to bump up LinkedIn. I like this. I like this. Everybody knows how to get a hold of Tristan. He's everywhere. So, but Ben, thank you for being on the show. We really appreciate you. Thank you for dropping knowledge and actually showing people that it is okay to be picky, which is a good thing. You want to be picky. You want to work with people that you like working with. Otherwise, the job kind of sucks. So,
well,
thank you.
Clients appreciate you if you're not. So, anyway, see you guys
constantly. You're awesome. Thanks, Ben. See ya.
Yep.